Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 25, episode number 4. It's the very next day from where we left off at. Normally I would push forward a little bit, but things have picked up. And there are options and a decision to make. Not necessarily that we would even get him, but there is a player on the waiver wire who I'm intrigued by. Jorge Mateo. Shortstop, 4-year pro with the Orioles. He's only making 2.7 million, which would make him like fourth highest paid player on the roster, but that's really small potatoes when it comes to salary as it is. 28, plenty of quality time ahead of him. Now, scouting reports. We had a low report on him early in March. We got it to be a little bit better a couple weeks later. And through that, we reassessed him from being just barely 2.5 stars to just barely being 2 stars. And the reality was we really only had like one attribute dip just a little bit. A month later, we're back down to kind of a moderate report. The only difference was that we lowered his I rating from a 45 to a 40, which 40, is not very good. But here's what's intriguing about him for me. He's a shortstop who can definitely play the position. He's not great, but he's a very serviceable major league shortstop. Also, incredible speed, base running, stealing ability is extremely high. 2 years ago, he had 35 steals. A year ago, he had 32. Now, you can see from these last few years that the reality is he's about a 220 hitter, but he's just slightly above replacement. He's serviceable in the major leagues. And remember, we are, 26, 27, 28 at almost every position. And while he's got a bunch of 50s for ratings, and that's nothing, spectacular, he is durable. And this is what we have at shortstop right now. Similar quality, but almost better as a second baseman than a shortstop. Looking at my options, Nick Allen at shortstop's doing okay. He's definitely not our worst player, but I noticed that Nick Allen has no backup, and Zach Geloff has no backup, as Nick Allen might be better as a second baseman. But we have 3 third basemen, including Aledmys Diaz. Diaz is our $8 million man. He's one of those couple highest salaries on the roster. He's 33. I don't know who would potentially sign him, and we may end up having to kind of suck it up and pay. Wow, signed as a free agent, really? Why would we sign him as a free agent? That's weird. But you can see how he is kind of a backup, can play many positions. Oh, he was signed prior to the 23 season. Okay. It expires at the end of this year. So it is an expiring contract at least. I think he's the kind of player that we drop him onto the waiver wire and spend 10 days trying to negotiate a deal for a prospect, literally any prospect, no matter how bad, to get that salary dump. In which case, we're going to try for Mateo. Claim has been accepted. However, the player will remain on waivers until the end of his waiver period, during which time the waiving team might pull him back or another team might claim him. If your claim is approved by the office after that time, you will receive a notification to that effect. All right, and just like that, Mateo is claimed. He is on our team now. At the same time, we have dropped an outfielder, Seth Brown. Is going to be out for 3 weeks. That should make the room to bring Mateo in immediately and give us time to make a decision. However, it does leave us short at outfield, where we will have no proper backups, but there's infielders who can definitely play in the outfield. And after claiming him off of waivers, our coach sees him more as a center fielder, which is perfect timing because not only did Seth Brown just go down, but Ruiz went down in the same game. So 2 outfielders both going down. It looks like Mateo will instantly be able to step in and provide us some outfield depth. And we're completing our fourth trade for a excess of prospects versus talented prospects. This time we're going to get Gino Groover, acquiring him from the nearby Hillsboro Hops, part of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. 2.5-star potential, already strong defense, and we are thin at first base. So I'm starting to look at specific positions where we are thinnest at. And you can see right field, first base, and catcher is where we lack talent in our farm system. Nothing's great down there. We don't have anything outstanding, but try to organize things at least a little bit. Only a single player we had to add him in to sweeten the deal. 1.5-star current, 2-star potential. So we're moving from a similar current ability of these two guys to a better potential of the other one, and otherwise throwing in a list of those guys at the very, very bottom. And meanwhile, high A versus a bunch of rookie ball guys. For Ruiz, it's back soreness. He'll be out for 2 weeks, so luckily nothing too long. And we're getting another deal through, so again, we're making a move. This time we're picking up Christian Opper. He is rookie ball. He's got better potential, though, 2.5 stars, a solid 2.5-star potential. Starting pitcher, something we haven't been picking up through this process yet. And just like that, we are down to 32 on that rookie squad where we had about 50 or over 50. It was close to 60, was it not? So we've cleaned out half of that roster, and the vast majority of it has been the bottom end. And we still have a lot of potential 2-star talent there. And look what we're down to on the weakness side. We've really, really cleaned it out. They expect me to vote for All-Stars when I've seen 2 games all season. Not going to do very well with that one. It's definitely going to have to be stat-based. Mason Miller has a whip under 1, an ERA under 2, and is an easy choice. A very easy choice. He's got some of the best numbers. He's looking Cy Young kind of numbers there, along with Tristan McKenzie. Let's take a quick assessment of the team as we're back within 10 games of 500. It's quite the progression from where we were. We're at 21-31 now, playing pretty good ball. We were 15-25 before, so at the very least, we're 6-6 in the last 12, and we were also 4-6 over the previous 10. We've got a 403 winning percentage, where last year it was about 300. So we are well on our way at this stage, with just over 50 games played, to a much better season than what the A's managed to do a year ago. And I've done that with very little change to what the roster actually looks like. Shea Langoliers is having a really good season right now. The young catcher right in the middle of our lineup, hitting 306 with 10 home runs, 32 RBI. Absolute standout. Around him, there's weaknesses, but the weaknesses aren't as bad as they were. We had guys hitting in the 100s. Now everybody's hitting 200 plus. New insert Jorge Mateo is in the lineup, and he's been playing well since coming over, doing much better than what he was doing with Baltimore, where he was hitting 200. With us, he's hitting 292. Meanwhile, our pitching staff is doing pretty decently. None of them are doing poorly. The worst ERA we have is a 4.73. We've got multiple guys in the 2s, and Mason Miller is still under a 2.0 ERA at this stage in time. Bullpen, well, not great. Definitely not great, but as bad as our team is, it's to be expected that there's going to be problems. But we've definitely closed some ground on our Western Division foes. We are still last in the American League, but we're only half a game behind Tampa Bay. We're only a game behind the Tigers. We're ahead of Miami. We're ahead of San Diego. We're ahead of Colorado. So the same 3 teams that we were ahead of before, we're ahead of them now. But we've definitely closed gaps, and we've pulled away from at least 2 of those teams, where we were barely ahead before, and we've closed gaps on a lot of teams. So we're definitely a team that's in a bit of form right now, and it's nice to see. Looking at that front office, tiny and pathetic still for the market size fan loyalty, but the fan interest has gone from a 15 to a 28. And we're doing this all on the smallest budget and payroll, even with the extra $2.5 million for picking up a player. Meanwhile, our minor league system's doing pretty okay. AAA team, they're first in the division, 632 win percentage. Our AA was worse, but they have picked up some steam and are getting a little bit closer. Our high A ball is right at 500. And we have gotten started on that rookie season with that thinned out roster. They're second in their league. We really only have two teams that are performing poorly. But remember, we were 26th on our farm system. I'm wondering if it's any better now. We haven't picked up the high-end prospects, so most likely I think our ranking would be exactly the same at this point. What we've done is altered the depth of our farm system at this point. That's just kind of that first stage, is using those pieces. Once you've done that, then you can flip prospects for better prospects down the road. Just a reminder, I took on a massive project to prepare for the draft. We had a lot of players that had average reports, or just good reports, definitely not exceptional. And so for literally hundreds of players, I think close to 300 when we got down to the end of it, we still have a chunk of that. So even though it's late May, we have spent well over a month scouting just draft prospects. But what we are down to is the final 47. So give it another 2 to 3 weeks. 2 weeks. You can see at the rate they're saying here. So 2 weeks, and that should be done. Since that time, it looks like I've picked up another 40 that I would like to scout. They've been waiting for a long time, and they continue to wait. I have not moved them up. I've not moved down. I've just taken care of it. It just meant that we have had a difficult time getting any proper scouting done recently. When we get through this list, it's going to be really important that we do some scouting of our own roster at some stage. A lot of our senior level guys, the reports are iffy on them. We don't have the extreme detail. We're going to need to have that, at least at the major league level and potentially the AAA level. We're going to need to know those prospects really well, but it's the manager who really needs to know, guys. For me, it's easy at the moment, anyway, to know that we have really bad prospects, lots of them, and flipping those for better prospects. That's a pretty easy thing to. It's not easy to accomplish, but it's easy to target and do, and you don't need the high-end detail on the players to succeed at that. Now, as you take it to the next level, as you take good or decent prospects and flip them for better prospects, you've got to be making the right move. And at that point, we need to have a scouting task list that's been cleared, that's available where it's possible to turn around and make actual upgrades and not make risky moves. So far, we are gaining a reputation as being somebody willing to make a deal, and it is improving our reputation in that matter, maybe making it even easier. Well, we obviously have a very long ways to go. We're almost, not quite, a third of the way into our first season. The first roster move has happened, but largely it's been the farm system overhaul that we have been working away at for now, and we'll continue to work away at for a while longer, because I'm still about 3 to 4 stage 1 deals that need to be complete, and then we can start looking at kind of that stage 2 of upgrading prospects, especially as we need to still continually prepare to free up some space for our upcoming draft. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.